Hi, I'm Rene DeLange, owner of Renegade Sports Therapy, and I often get asked about stretching if you're before or after, and there's a lot of that, and that is part of what I'm doing in school in exercise science, is to kind of clarify all that. But one of the things is stretching like a Barbie doll, which you don't think of that like a ballerina, they're hardcore. It's just not with enough tension. It's not in the right alignment. It's just kind of like, whatever. And then stretching really to make a difference. So it might be the Ken doll, but I think I'm gonna switch those. That's the Barbie doll. The Ken doll is when you don't do it right. So I am very sore today. I'm an instructor at CU Boulder, and I teach cardio and glutes and tough buff and cycle and Bosu ball. And today I did a different workout, a different routine the other day. It was good, obviously, because I'm sore. So it's an upper hamstring sore, and this is often an area where people get a lot of problems. A wide receiver on the military base I used to work with, a cornerback, he had this problem. People who run, and it's the short stopping or the constant repetitive motion. For me, it's squats on the Bosu ball and squats in general, squats with the band. So let's get into it, and bear with the video because this is so undone thing. It's this area up in here, and the attachments of the hamstring are here. So often when people stretch, they have a rounded back, and that isn't going to allow you to pull. The back can't be pulling at all. So basically, it's got to come from here. So the knees also, you don't want them pushed back all the way at ACL in this one, so it doesn't go back this one. You can hyperextend just slightly. You don't want hyperextension. You want just that little perfect micro bend, they call it in yoga. Trying not to get the shadow, but this knee is better. Okay, so when you stretch back, it's not, that hyperextension. So see, I can do it with that knee. This knee is perfect right there. This one, it's like the little micro bend. That's where that one goes anyways. You generally, if you do have an issue on one leg like that, you can push this one into it and then shift your hips more, because what ends up happening is because this knee's tighter, that hip will shift that way, and then you're truly never really stretching this leg. Line it up, drop your back out of it. So the problem is when you can't go down anymore, then you can't really get this way in this stretch. You have to work on your back and then work there from laying on the floor, which I can show in another video. This one is more advanced. This is for people who not only are, well, everyone should stretch, but to really get when they build muscle, but also you have to be flexible. If you're not flexible, you can't get into this area in here. So it's just really dropping over all the way and then leaning back as if the door were right there. So I'm leaning into the door, and you have to pull your ribs. I'm not sure I'm in the video, yeah. And then you have to stay here. You can do 10 seconds, 3 times. So when you come up, you take deep breaths in here. So it's at least 3 long breaths, 3 seconds in, 3 seconds out, and you release your body each time. When you go to come up, make sure your knees have not hyperextended back, because it's super easy for them to do that. And then you, with them slightly bent, you roll up and take a breath here, come up slow, and then inhale all the way up. Okay, so down. So dropping into it is also the problem. You would do that 3 times, and then where you're really getting from when your muscles are really sore is that first one is going to be difficult. So you can sometimes stay there a little bit longer. Once you get that first one done, maybe the second, third time, you can actually push back more, push back hard with all your breath, and squeeze the back of your legs, and then you come up right away into it, and you can do those a little bit quicker. Going down, it doesn't have to be the quick part. It's here where you just want a couple of seconds, push it back, and roll up. Okay, I was gonna discuss one more thing. So drop down one more time and remember, right? So you don't want to push back here. You want to push back with where it's the tightest and the sorest. So often when people stretch, their hamstrings aren't stretching enough. So their glutes are still dropped towards the floor, and so you're not really stretching the attachments there. The attachments have to be vertical. And that's where it just takes time to get into it. Months even. And then I'm gonna come up. And then I remember I was gonna show the modification for when you're not stretched out all the way and you just are tight there. To drop into it would be, that modification would be on the floor, which I'm not showing in this video. The modification I want to show now is the one where when you go into the stretch, you don't want to just drop over into it. So it's more you put your hands here and you slide your hands down, and if that's as far as you can go, then you want to check your knees next to make sure they're not hyperextended back, bend them a little bit. And then you can rest your body here. Take a breath, inhale, exhale, and you can widen out your stance a little bit, and then you can slowly start to straighten up just from there with your back bent over here. So my back is not down here where it would go. And then this is also the other way to stretch very hard there. Switching back into full thing is with the legs wide out. You can turn your feet turned into each other, and then you can turn your feet turned out that way too. So can't show that here, but you can imagine, right? And then your feet turned out, right? So if it's this way, you're stretching, your feet are turned in. Also, you don't want your knees knocking in like that. You want them straight, and you want to lean back here the way that you were leaning there. Lean back. So if this is all you got, you're good. And when you get here, it's still a flat back, what you're looking for, that flat back. Knees coming, roll up into it when you come up. You're gonna come up all the way, inhale, exhale, and then you can turn out the other way. So stretching back that way is also really good. And you can move your feet there. So, and then now it's one leg. You have to show with the foot like that. And then the other like that. And again here, it's the rib to the thigh, that's the important one, but most people can't do that, so you're here, and you're just leaning into the leg that you're stretching, one leg at a time, right? So it's one leg. So yes, and then you can eventually lift that higher and stretch it, and you can stretch it up onto a table or a bench, but if you do lift it to go up into it, lift it straight up, help it get on there, and then you're at that level, and then you can fold over into it. So again, most people here cannot fold over all the way down into it, so you would do it with more of a bent knee, and push into it, straighten it, push into it, straighten it. So right, if you're not flexible enough yet, you do a bent knee, work on that back coming down, not here. Ballerinas do the pointy toe, have these silly shoes on. Do the pointy toe stretch, which is also a good one, right? Where you pointy toe, that's a word. Cantor flex, the toe, just trying to hold on, right? So it would stay that way in the stretch. And then that way also. So again, if the knee is bent, you just stay there and you work on straightening it. Straightening it, that's the hard part, and not locking that knee back. Okay, coming out of that, let's just release it down. And you're good. So I'm already feeling better. That was a lot. Sometimes too, the little glute stretch is good. Right, so you're sitting down here. That also gets a lot. And then sometimes it's really good for people they can lean straight out onto a countertop or something like that. Whew, that feels good. And the other side. So again, it's the same thing. It's 3 counts of 10 seconds. Again, you can lean. And also, when you're here, spin the ankle. I'll work on this self video another time. So all of these things, the doorway, and you don't have to be at the gym to stretch. Okay. Thank you for watching, and get busy stretching, and see you for another one. Something else.